Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of the C International podcast. With me today are two of our star doctors. Dr. Janak Shah and Preeti Shah are visiting us from Mumbai, India. They are looking no worse for wear after a 30-hour flight, so already they get major respect out of me for that. Just absolute Vikings as far as I'm concerned. How are you two feeling?
Feeling great.
Yeah, feeling great to be here.
Aren't they nice? So I like to start our interviews just kind of talking about what motivates you guys to volunteer with C. But I guess, first of all, how did you two become doctors in the first place anyway? Was it always something you wanted to do?
I wanted to be a doctor right from the age of, I can say, 4 years.
Wow.
Yes, so I wanted to pursue my dream, and I think I made it. And because of C, I think we get the opportunity to, do a lot of humanitarian work, which really is very motivating for us, the kind of work that C does. So I think, yes, that's the thing about it.
For me, my parents were doctors, and I used to go on missions with them. And that's how I was motivated to take medicine and also ophthalm.
Was it always ophthalmology that you two wanted to practice, or was it just any sort of medicine in general?
Basically, I wanted to be a doctor by profession, but yes, ophthalmology came, as a choice, destiny, you can say.
Sure.
So maybe for all the good work which I do right now, God has given me such a great gift, to be an ophthalmic surgeon, so I can serve humanity.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Now, did either or both of you do any volunteering when you were growing up? Was that something your families did?
Well, I did go with my parents to rural India to do some volunteering work, and I also did some volunteering work in the census for government of Maharashtra. And most of my humanitarian work started after I graduated from ophthalmology.
I see.
Yeah, as for me, it was not purely in the medical field, though my mom was a teacher, and she used to, give voluntary lessons to many of the children, the needy. So it all maybe started from that, seeing your own parents, giving back to the society what they have kind of imbibed. So it's kind of, my paying back to the society.
I see.
Yes, so it's the voluntary work which we do is like if you have got the talent, somehow you can be of help to humanity. It's the thought that is important.
Not everybody is given gifts per
Yeah,
se.
whichever field you are in, you have to give back. I believe you have to take a profession where you can give back to humanity what you are learning. So I think that was probably the main factor which helped me, in this kind of a mission work or led me into it that way.
I'm sure that seems very normal to you guys, but at least from the perspective in the U.S., where a lot of things are so profit-driven and all of that, that really is a remarkable and very, I think, enviable worldview that you both have. So,
Thank you so much.
well, I wish I was more like you too in that regard.
We all do, I think, in our way. I think, yes.
Principles are principles, and we
Yeah.
just kind of do our best to match them.
Yes.
Now, India's calling India an interesting place, of course, is an understatement. It's a nation of what 1.3 billion
Yes.
now, I believe, people.
Yes.
As varied culturally and linguistically as Europe in many regards. Speaking
True.
about it as one country is often sort of a fallacy as it is. But I know that it has unique challenges as far as blindness is concerned. If I was reading correctly, it has something like a quarter to maybe one half of cataract blindness throughout the whole world, actually, or at least some enormous proportion there. And that, of course, is unsurprising. It's a very, very big country, as it is. But is that something that you both have felt really has motivated you to, a sense of duty to your countrymen?
Yes, in a way, I never think of India as a country which has
Sure.
so many blind and, untreatable. We are doing our part.
Mm.
It's a matter of eradicating blindness all over the world.
Mm.
We've been to so many missions all over. So yeah, India is a part of it,
Mm.
of eradication. Yes, definitely, since we are, from that part of the world.
Mm.
But yes, we would like to see, blindness being eradicated the world over.
Sure,
That
sure.
is basically our driving factor.
You two seem like more citizens of the world, I think, than
Yes.
staunch nationalists or anything like that.
Yeah, yes.
As loaded as that term is, of
Yes.
course. Wonderful. Now, rural India, that in and of itself has its own sort of unique challenges. Why don't you tell our listeners what some of those challenges are compared to doing volunteer work in Mumbai, for example?
Well, I feel that the challenges doing in the rural part of the country would be first that sometimes you don't have electricity which is continuous, so you will have uninterrupted. The electricity is an issue.
Power supply.
The power supply, obviously, it's linked. And another thing is that there are less doctors in the rural areas compared to the metropolitan city.
Mm-hmm.
So probably the outreach is not that much. That's where I feel that we've got a role to play, to go to the rural areas and do mission work, because that's where the need is tremendous.
Mm-hmm. Is that the doctors not being in the rural areas, is that mainly because all of the talent goes for the cities? People who grow up there and
Well, I feel mostly the doctors would like to stay in the city per se because of a lot of factors. The basic factor is education, because they would like to have good education for their daughters and their sons, which would be difficult in a rural setting.
Sure. There's opportunity for them and everything. Is that your view as well, Preeti?
Yes, I definitely feel, the cities offer much more than, what the villages can. But then once you have trained yourself, like you have acquired a skill, it's always better to go back to your roots and try and help as much, as you can. Because, yeah, I think for your own progress, you need to, progress to places to, learn, grasp that kind of education for you. So, yes, definitely, there is a brain drain from the villages to cities and from cities to the entire world. So,
Sure.
yes, that problem is there. Yeah.
Sure, and it's pretty understandable.
Yes.
I would think, but it leaves the people in the poor rural areas without many options.
Yes.
Overall.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when did you first start? I should back up and say, Janak and Preeti are here to teach ophthalmologists who volunteer with C a relatively new eye procedure called the manual small incision cataract surgery. When I say relatively new, it's over the last 20 years, isn't it, or something? Or
Yes.
20 years.
Yes, 20 years, yeah.
20 years or so. Now, how is that helpful to the doctors who are working in the field exactly? What makes M6 such a special technique?
See, MSICS is basically, you can call it in a layman term, of a manual phacoemulsification, you know. The machine, the latest technology is the phacoemulsification, which we usually do, but MSIC can be considered to be a younger brother. You can say that. So the only thing is, this works well in places where there are no sophisticated machineries and, trained staff, and where you do volume work and you want to give the best to the patients there. Definitely, they also deserve the best. So compared to the normal surgeries, compared to the normal technique of taking sutures, this is a sutureless surgery wherein you remove the cataract through a small incision. So you can call it a manual phacoemulsification. So that's the whole thing about it. You don't have to take sutures, and you can give quality work in a quantitative, setup, like quality in quantity.
I see.
That is what, yes.
That's kind of the aim with it.
Yeah, and it works economical. So you can do justice, you can do bulk work, That's the most important thing.
I understand that one of the ways in which it's very useful is when there are large backlogs of people
Yes.
who have been waiting for sometimes years.
In rural areas where, you don't have proper equipments, because phacoemulsification requires trained staff,
Mm-hmm.
the machine, the maintenance, the transport. It's expensive.
Yeah, the
you know.
electricity, as
The
Janak was saying
electricity.
earlier.
So
Yeah.
yes, so basically it's very helpful in hard cataracts.
Mm-hmm.
And decompensated corneas where phacoemulsification would definitely spoil the case rather than
Mm-hmm.
make it good. So yes,
That's
it's
what
the
I.
surgery.
It's interesting. I was speaking to a doctor here in the U.S. Not too long ago, and they were saying that they wish M6 was actually taught to doctors
The
in the U.S.
residents, yes.
Yeah, more often, simply because there are some very mature cataracts.
Cataracts,
Yeah.
hard cataracts.
Even in rural areas in the U.S. where people just haven't been seen for years, and if they used phaco on it, it would shatter
Yes.
the cataracts. That's so interesting, the new techniques that we come up with, and how the more simple is often
Yes.
the better way to do it.
True.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, how did you two become acquainted with C International in the first place, anyway?
Well, I got acquainted with C International in 1996 when I went to a conference in US and I met Harry Brown there. And we had an interesting conversation, and Harry said that why don't you join C and jump in the bandwagon and try to help the underprivileged patient. And I said, no issues. I'll definitely join in. And since then, it's like 20 years I've been attached to C.
20 years, wow. And you have
Amazing.
done 100 and was it 40 or 160?
144 missions.
144 missions, not that he's counting the exact number or anything. That is an astounding number. I don't know, our listeners may not realize, but most of our doctors, I'm not 100% sure what the average number of missions that they've been on would be, but it would be less than 20, I would say. And that's good. That's a terrific number. That's a huge investment of time and energy. But 144 is mind-boggling. Does that seem like a lot to you?
I don't think so.
Much more to come.
Yeah, many more to come.
Yeah, many
yes.
more to come.
Have you been on all of those, Preeti? Or?
Yeah, I try to join him
Or
as
most of
much as
them,
I
yeah.
can, yes. But since I have my own responsibilities
Sure.
as a mother, so I think, yes, I definitely would love to join him more in missions.
You do the hard work so he can go
God
off
willing,
on missions.
God willing.
True.
Well, that's wonderful. And you were saying sometimes your daughters
Yes.
go with you guys as well. And what are their names?
My older one is Pooja.
Uh-huh.
She's 17. And younger one is Sanya. She's 12 years.
Wonderful. Well, that's a great. I assume it's a great eye-opening experience
Yes.
for them to go on these expeditions.
True. Yes.
And good for them for learning how to serve at an early age.
Yeah.
And not
Empathize, yeah.
To
It's basically
empathize,
empathize is the thing which, I would like my children to, catch on, because if you empathize with someone, definitely you would try to do good for people around you, because that's the essence, you have to empathize with people's sufferings, with their conditions, and, that's what I said, give back to the humanity what you have learned,
Sure.
in a good way.
Right.
Yes.
And I know I've read and spoken with you on this before, Janak, but you have some wonderful thoughts about what you get back from serving other people as well. I was wondering if you'd like to share some of those.
Well, I feel when you serve the underprivileged patients, you basically get a sense of accomplishment. You also get a sense that you are imparting your skills to where it is genuinely needed. And also it changes the way you think and the course of your life. And especially when I take my kids along, it's very important because also it helps in the way they think and their approach to life.
Yes.
You feel the same way?
Yes, I do feel it is important, And I feel service to humanity is service to God, you know. Basically, I'm a Hindu and deep-rooted, I believe a lot in God Almighty. So I feel this is one aspect of serving, you know, serving God, you know, serving humanity. And definitely I would like my children to grow up in the same way, having such principles that, yes, you have to believe in yourself and serve people in the best way you can. So that gives a lot of job satisfaction also to me. Being in such a field where I can give, you know, sight to so many people really fills me with joy. Once I feel the second day the person can see the world, you know, and the smile on the person's face, that really touches me.
You know,
So
I've not been on any expeditions yet. I've worked for Steve for 3 years and haven't been on any yet, but I will be going hopefully soon. But we get photos back of people
Yes.
getting the bandages taken off, and even just secondhand from a photograph, they can be gut punches. You know,
Yes.
they can be some of the most poignant things I've ever seen. I can only imagine what it's
Yeah.
like in person.
I know. I know. You feel good about yourself. That you can really help a person in need, you know. And
sure.
vision is so important. So it's important that way.
Yeah, I also have the same feeling, but I also would go one step further and say that yes, you need to operate on the underprivileged patients, the senile ones, but it gives me more pleasure in operating the pediatric age group patients because by definition I'm a pediatric eye surgeon. And to operate these little kids at that young age of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it changes the whole course of their life.
Yes.
You catch them young, and when you do it at that age, they've got another 50, 60 years to live. You are really changing their destiny.
Wow. You see, I knew I was going to get a great quote out of you, or two or three on this one. That's wonderful. Now, we have a lot of doctors, of course, on the roster for C who go out and travel, or some are looking to travel and volunteer with us. What are some? What would you say to a doctor who is thinking of maybe going to India to volunteer with C? Would you recommend it?
Obviously.
Definitely, yes.
Wonderful.
And well, the take home points for any surgeons who want to come to India is it's a beautiful place, it's a wonderful place. There are a lot of deserving patients who need to be operated. And the only thing is that when you're operating in a different place, in a different environment, with different OT conditions, you need to adapt. And if you can adapt, that's the best thing. Life is about adapting. So it's the same way for surgery. When you go to a different place, you need to adapt. And once you do that, I think you're on your own.
You agree?
Yes, I do agree with him because even we realize is when we go to many places, initially it is tough for everyone. We being humans, we are not superhumans.
Sure.
So we need to adjust, we need to keep our cool patience, and then it works out all the way. And then the rewards you get after the completion of the mission is like unbelievable. You will be like, you know, so happy that you have been of help to so many people and done your job so well. So that's what he says is right. You have to adapt. It's important because I know it. If any surgeon is listening to this conversation, he would definitely agree. Working in a different setup, with different instrumentation, with different staff, with the language barrier, with difficult climatic conditions, you know, it is difficult for a surgeon to keep his cool and perform surgeries which are actually very tough. The people who we operate in India, they have hard cataracts, and believe me, it's tough doing their surgeries. So you need to adapt and have patience. That's a mantra.
But it's all worth it in the end.
It's all worth it in the end. You forget everything, the sweat and the grime and whatever you have been through. Yes, you forget everything, seeing the wonderful smile of the patients, and it's really a very blessed experience, yes.
Well, if there's a better reason to volunteer with C, then I can't possibly think it up, much less articulate it. So thank you both very much for this.
Thank you so much for having us
I
here. Yeah.
really appreciate it, and I look forward to talking with you guys more and more in the future, and just getting terrific stories and worldviews from you. So thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much. Thank
Janak
you.
and Preeti Shah are here until Sunday or Monday?
Saturday.
Saturday. We leave Sunday early morning.
Sunday
6
early.
o'clock.
Yeah, early morning.
Right. All the same, it sounds like, really. But they're going to be teaching the M6 course what is now tomorrow, Saturday. And we are just so thrilled to have them here. Thank you again
Thank you
very
so
much.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. God so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. God so much.